Many young people are looking forward to go to college. It is like entering another stage in life, waiting for them to explore. Brianna Houston was one of them, enjoying her college life. She attended a prestigious school in Boston. A promising future seemed to be ahead of her. But everything changed her world one night after she said goodbye to her friend in a coffee shop.
I don't know, like 2 in the morning or something. And she was going to stay. And then I was like, I have class in the morning, I gotta go. And she was like, okay. So an acquaintance of ours was like, oh, I'll drive you home. And I was like, no, it's 5 minutes. I'm like, it'll be fine. He went to drive me home. He pulled up to the building and the door was locked. The car doors were locked, so I couldn't get out. And when I tried to unlock them, he started kissing me on the neck. And he was like, no, you're not ready to go home yet, and drove away. And then raped me in the car in a back alley in downtown Boston.
For Brianna, sexual violence was like the news only showing up on TV. She had never thought she would one day fall victim to the crisis.
No. I was naive, I think. You know, I was living in Boston, I was going to school, you know, downtown. I loved it, and I never thought something like that would happen to me.
According to National Institute of Justice, there are about 30 rapes per 1,000 women on college campuses. The number is prevalent because up to 80% of people don't report the case, and the figure hasn't counted the men who got assaulted. The problem is so serious that even the Vice President, Joe Biden, called for the public's attention when he addressed a speech at the University of New Hampshire.
No means no. No means no if you're drunk or you're sober. No means no, even if you said yes at first and you changed your mind.
Peggy Barrett, the Director of Community Awareness and Prevention Services at Boston Area Rape Crisis Center, said, the experience is a severe trauma for victims.
Main symptoms that people experience is inability to concentrate. So they will have trouble completing their coursework, doing reading. Of course, it's problematic because it's a trauma. It's something that people will have to deal with for the rest of their lives.
This was indeed also the case for Brianna. It took her 10 years to walk through the nightmare.
I basically went into denial. And try to put it in the back of my head like it never happened, and try to get on with my life. And it took years. It took a couple years before it, you know, I mean, it was always back there. It took great people and great support system for me to finally get to a point where I would be okay.
Sexual violence on campus proliferates across the country. Boston University enrolled more than 33,000 students every year. When being asked whether sexual assault is an issue in this campus, interestingly, BU students reply differently.
I haven't really heard many cases of some actual rape, but I don't know.
I've never heard of it happening at BU, so no, I guess not.
No, not really. I haven't really heard much about this happening, at least with my friends or anyone I've known.
Yeah, I think it's an issue here too. Yeah. Say if people go to parties, then something happens when people are drinking. But yeah, those are the cases I've heard of.
I've heard of cases at parties due to people drinking and due to substances being put in other people's drinks. And I've also heard of actually only one instance in which it's happened on campus in a darker area at night.
The students also have their preventions of sexual violence on campus.
Be with your friends, the ones that care about you.
Well, when I'm walking around at night, I make sure I'm not alone, or if I am, I make sure I'm alert, don't have my headphones in or anything.
Walk in groups, always have a cell phone, take public transportation instead of walking late at night.
But in fact, attackers are not those hiding in the bushes.
We know for college campuses is that 90% of people who have been assaulted on college campuses, 9 out of 10 know the person who assaulted them.
A study conducted by National Institute of Justice, at least half of sexual assaults among college students go hand in hand with alcohol. Peggy also agrees.
So people who are drinking, are seen as targets and could be made more vulnerable and isolated easily.
Kassenflagen, a sports bar close to Boston University, is one of the students' favorite places to hang out. Joe DiAngelo, the bar manager, says they carefully deal with drunk customers.
Once they hit that point, we know it's in our right to not serve them any more alcohol. So just make sure that you tell them that they might have been served too much tonight. They can get a ride home if they like. We can find them a cab. We can call a friend, try to get someone that's with them to help them out, get them a train in time.
He also emphasizes that providing a safe environment is essential. The staff won't walk away if they notice any alleged sexual assault.
We immediately get them out of the premises. Normally there's detailed cops in the area with the Boston Police Department, so we'd get one of them immediately to come over and take the information down of the person that was treating the other person the wrong way sexually or violating their space at any point.
Peggy stresses everyone has the responsibility to keep an eye on environmental safety.
This problem of sexual violence is a community problem, and the community could change their norms and reduce it a lot so that everyone has a role to play in reducing sexual violence.
A high percentage of victims choose to hide behind the reality, pretending nothing has ever happened. Brianna is a brave survivor. She gives voice to the silent crime. There is one reason prompting her to do so.
Why would you decide to come forward to share your story with others?
I never wanted anyone to go through what I did and not know that there wasn't someone out there that hadn't been through the same thing, or maybe even prevents it from happening.
No one deserves to be a victim of sexual violence, but if the tragedies happens, bravely dealing with the violent behavior is important. You could always resort to Boston Area Rape Crisis Center. They provide a 24-hour hotline. And remember, you're not alone to fight against the crime. For BUTV 10, this is Pin-Yu Chen reporting in Boston.